For decades, the Philippines has struggled with legislative gridlock and personality-based politics. It is time for a change. Good day, my name is Marie Cristianes, and today I will discuss whether the Philippines should shift to a parliamentary system. So, I stand firmly in the affirmative. I believe the Philippines should adopt a parliamentary system to modernize our governance. So, I will focus on three key areas: legislative efficiency, party building, and accountability. My first point is faster decision making and efficiency. My point is that a parliamentary system eliminates the gridlock common in our current setup. In a presidential system, the executive and legislative branches often fight, leading to vetoed bills and delayed budgets. In a parliament, the executive is fused with the legislature. As noted by political scientist Aaron Lichbart in his landmark study Pattern of Democracy 2012, parliamentary systems are categorized as consensus democracies. This means they are statistically more efficient at passing social and economic legislation because the Prime Minister naturally holds the support of the majority. For example, while the United States, after which our system is modeled, often faces government shutdown over budget disputes, parliamentary nations like United Kingdom or Canada maintain a continuous flow of policy implementation because the government and the parliament work as one unit. My second point is accountability and stronger party system. Secondly, the shift will move us away from personality-based politics and toward program-based politics. Currently, Filipinos often vote for celebrities or famous surnames rather than clear platforms. In a parliamentary system, the focus shifts to the political party. So, according to Dr. Jose Abueva, former president of the University of the Philippines and chairman of the 2005 Consultative Commission, a parliamentary system is the best school for leadership because it forces parties to develop clear ideologies. In his research toward a Federal Republic of the Philippines 2005, Abueva argues that this system discourages turncoatism, the habit of politicians switching parties for convenience, because the party's platform is what keeps the prime minister in power. Members are incentivized to stay loyal and disciplined, ensuring that the promises made during elections are actually the policies delivered in the office. My third point is greater political stability and flexibility. So this focuses on stability. Many fear that removing term limits for a prime minister leads to dictatorship, but the opposite is true. A parliamentary system offers a safety valve called the vote of no confidence. In our current presidential system, if a leader is failing or corrupt, the only options are impeachment, which is highly political and difficult, or a street revolution like EDSA. However, research by Stefan and Scotch in their article Constitutional Frameworks and Democratic Consolidation, World Politics 1993 shows that parliamentary democracies are significantly more stable than presidential ones. They found that between 1973 and 1989, parliamentary systems were 3 times more likely to remain democratic. So, if a prime minister loses the trust of the people or their party, they can be replaced quickly and legally without the entire country falling into a constitutional crisis. In summary, a parliamentary system offers the efficiency we lack, the party discipline we need, and the accountability we deserve. By adopting a parliamentary system, the Philippines can create a more accountable, stable, and effective government, it is time to evolve beyond the politics of the personality. So I hope you learn about parliamentary system. Thank you.